Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to show you how you can make this. It's going to be an interesting tutorial. And this is 2 yards and my master rule pattern master tape rule chalk, and the measurement I'll be working with are shoulder, bust, length and waist. So remember, this is not going to be your exact waist. So if your waist is 36, I think you should work with 38, just to allow it to have that flow that you can see. So first thing I need to do is to get the lengths. So for me to know the biggest part, and the biggest part we are working here is 10.5. I'll come back to that for my folding. So 10.5, and this folding is exact, so I'm folding my first fabric for 12.5. So the next thing I need to indicate is the length. So the length is going to be 20 inches and 2 inches, 1.5 inches for folding and 1 inches for the shoulder joining. So I've indicated the line. I hope you can see it from my chalk. So next I need to do is to indicate my shoulder. My shoulder is 16, so divided by 2 is going to be giving me 8, and 8 are adding half inches allowance here. So the next thing I'll be doing is to come down 1 inches for my shoulder slope, and I'm also coming down 3 inches. That's my original neckline, and I'm just going to connect it. Feel free to use your ruler, but I just love using my hands. Next thing I want to do is to indicate my shoulder, my armhole depth. So in this case I'm working with 9 inches because the sleeve is, you can see the sleeve is very big. Then I'm going to indicate my measurement, and my measurement is 10.5. I'm adding 1.5 allowance. Then my waist, let me indicate my 2 inches. So for my folding, so this is my 2 inches and this is for my folding. On that line I'm going to indicate my shoulder, my waist, waist. So my waist is 9 1/4. I'm going to put it 9 1/4, and my sewing allowance of 1.5. Just going to connect it. This style is very classy and very easy to make. You can make yours. Just get a lovely fabric. I'm using organza. If you're wondering the type of fabric I'm using an organza fabric. So next thing I need to do is to just come down 1 inches from my, 1 inches here, and I'm going to connect it like so. So for my shoulder, my cross chest is 15, so I'm going to be indicating it 15, and I'm adding half inches because I need this particular outfit is going to be very loose on my body, as you can see it on the picture I sent earlier. So I'm going to be working with 8 again here. This is my back, so I'm just going to connect it. I'm just going to connect it this way. Like this. So for this particular one, we are through with the back. I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to now show how to cut the front. Please don't forget to notch at this point, so you know that this is the part you're going to fold in when you're sewing. Careful when you're working with organza, as it's very, very slippery. So this is it. So I now need to cut my front, and for my front there's a zipper in the front. So I'm going to be using a 1 inch. Let me get it down. If you're still watching till now, feel free to just like. I'm using 1/2 inches for my zip allowance. So I'm not going to do much here. I'm just going to cut it off the way it is, and before I start adding and subtracting parts I don't need for my front. So I'm just going to cut exactly what I did for the back. I'm not doing anything yet till I'm through with the cutting. So this one is aside. So now this is my, still going to indicate my folding. So I'm taking the back off. Now my front, this is it. Remember I've added ½ inches, and my original neckline is 3 inches. So I'm going to get my 3 inches squared down. So 3 inches this way. And I'm going to come in at this point and mark my 3/4, and I'm going to curve it. So this is my front neckline. So for my cross chest, my cross chest is 13 plus sewing allowance. That will be 13. That's 14. Sorry about that, 14. So remember my ½ inches indicated here. Then I'm going to now measure my 7. Because the back and the front not the same. Don't forget that part. So the shoulder still remains the same, but the across chest and across back cannot be the same. So I'm just going to trim it this way, and I'm now going to take away the neckline. So what we got here now is the front and the back. So this is the front and the back. So what we are going to do next is to go to the machine off camera and sew the shoulder. Then we'll come back to measure the collar and the sleeve. I want it that way so I could get the circumference, exact circumference I need for everything that I will be working on. Then I'm going to also fold the down. So we'll be back.
So we have sewed the shoulder, so we use the French seam to sew the shoulder, and this is it. Because the front is a v-neck, I'm going to measure 3 inches below, and I'm going to curve it back to the shoulder line. Yes, so I can get the exact shape in which I want the collar to fit in. So this is me trying to curve it in. Yes, so just make it a v-neck. So you just come down 3 inches and do that. And after that,
Why do that?
I'm going to cut it off like so.
I'm going to cut it off.
So when I cut it off, now I'm just going to measure, let me pin it back so it doesn't move again from there. So now I'm going to also blend the back neckline so there will be a coherence to it. So that's me doing it. I'm just taking like 1/4 away from it, and that's just the curve I need. I need this smooth curve right there, and that's what I've gotten. So I'm just going to measure around the neckline to know what I'm going to be using for my collar. So remember, I'm going to put in ½ inches zip allowance there, so I minus that when I'm measuring it, and I've gotten what I need, which is 11.5, so 11.75, and that's what I'm going to use to cut my collar. And for my sleeve, this is the front and the back. When you pin it this way, it's going to be the front and the back. So let me start with the collar. So I fold the fabric, the mini fabric this way. Then I bring this, the edge. I want to get a cone effect, so I'm just going to bend it this way to have a cone effect, as if you're cutting flail. Actually, you just fold it the way you're cutting flail, and that's what you get. So now I'm going to now measure my measurement I need. So in this case, I'm working with 4. How do I drive 4? I think I just thought about 4. I just need a flail effect. So when I get the flail effect, I'm just going to now trim to the neckline in which I want. So this is me creating that cone for me to get my flea, and then the length in which I want the
So I want to measure the length in which I want the flea to be. So in this case, I'm going to be using 10 because it's big, but feel free to use more than 10 if you want to. So I'm just going to mark my 10 inches, then I'll take my tape rule to the cone point, then get mark 14 inches because I want it corresponding. I don't want any up and down, if I could say that. So I'm just going to connect what I need. Then, so I've gotten what I need right now. So just quickly going to cut it off. So at this point, this is the exact color I need, but I'm going to, let me just open it. I'm going to be cutting this 2 piece. So this is the first one. I'm going to cut another one. So, but before I do that, I want to cross check with the neckline. So in this case, this is what I need. So I'm just going to still trim the collar to rhyme with what I need for the neckline. Remember, I came down 3 inches on the neckline for the front, so I'm still going to do the same thing for the collar, and that's what I'm doing exactly here. So after that, I'm just going to trim off the parts in which I don't need. Then I'm going to cut another one of these. So I'm just trimming it off. So I want that smooth edge just the way the neckline is, and this is what I got. So I'm just going to correspond it with the neckline. Remember to notch the midpoints so you know where exactly you are starting from. I already notched the midpoint for the neckline, so I'm just going to make it visible again. Then I'm going to check if the collar is going to match when I start sewing it, and this is exactly what I need, and it's going to work perfectly for it. So I'm going to cut another one of this again because I need 2 pieces to make this particular collar. So before we go further, I need to cut the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I folded the fabric into 4, marking it 23 inches, and I'm going to give this curve this way. Please note, you can extend your sleeve as big as you want. You can use 28, you can even use 30 inches. It gives a bigger fuller effect. So I'm just going to gather the armhole to it. So I'm measuring it again, and it's giving me 23. So I'm going to divide my 23 by 2, and what I get is what I'm going to mark. And in this case, I got 11.75. So I'm going to mark it this way. So I'm going to start from the down, so I get a exact measurement in which I need for the second sleeve. So I'm going to do a straight line to that effect. So this line is where I'm going to put the first elastic, which I'm going to create a channel for my elastic to pass through. So I'm going to cut the excess I don't need now, and I'm going to also open this part. For the hem, I'm just going to fold it and also put my elastic on that part when I'm sewing it. So now I have my 2 sleeve folded here. I'm going to fold it this way to put my elastic, and I'm going to be working with an 1/2 inch elastic. And also for this part, I'll put a channel, and I'm going to pass my 1/2 inch elastic. So if you want to measure the exact amount you need for your elastic, you just put the elastic around your armhole this way. By doing this, you have an idea where it's going to stop. So this is where I'm going to be working with now. The exact amount I need is what I'm going to gather into it. So if you're working with 30, maybe fold your fabric by 30. That's it. It's going to give that gathers effect when you create a channel there. And for the hem line, I'm also going to gather it this way too. Get my measurement. That's what I'm going to put for the hem line. So I'll take the sleeve and also the collar and fix the zip. Yes, I'm going to fix the zip, the 1/2 inches in which I kept. I'm going to fix it to the front part. Then I'm going to now fix my collar to it. I'm going to now fix my collar to it. You see the way? So then cut the excess of the zip that I don't need. Then when I do all that, I'm going to come back to show you the result. So we're done fixing the sleeve and also the collar, and this is how it looks like. My really didn't come out as big as I wanted. Okay, let's go to the collar. So to fix this collar, you're going to start from inside out. I'm going to go back to the sewing machine and search all this place, overlock it, so it gives me a very nice finishing. So you put from inside, you sew from inside and outside, so your aim does not show. Then you go back to your overlocking machine and overlock all these parts. This is an easy top that you can use to turn up at all effect and everywhere. So I've also fixed the zip. You can see it's so easy to, if you need me to give a tutorial on how to fix the zip, I will. So I'm going to search everywhere. I've trimmed the excess that I don't need. Then I'm going to overlock it, and this is how it is. If you're still, please leave a like, subscribe, and get a notification when my next video comes up. Thank you so much for watching.